Welcome back. After that short break, we are jumping into our second series of the day. We've got Gladiators going up against the Mayhem.
Certainly do. It's a banger of a match. Both of these teams have also been tweeting at me like they are playing, I don't know, in order to get something shaved into my head. I don't know why I agree to this kind of stuff, Jaws, but both of these teams, like the Florida Mayhem started getting involved. Like they're so confident that they're going to beat the Gladiators here that they were tweeting at me instead of tweeting at their opponents. Like, come on, I'm the third party. I'm not even involved in this.
Can you get a portrait of shaved into your head, actually?
No.
In the back?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Why not?
I've played for both of these teams as well. I've had a contract with both of these teams throughout the season, and they both just try and stab me in the back.
Played. Yep, played. Absolutely. Oh dear, I've had enough already, Josh. I think I'm gonna peace out. Actually, you can. I think you can handle this on your own. I mean, you play for two teams. I mean, you have the experience at the end of the day over me.
Yeah,
so
I do.
Makes sense. I mean, look at that. Your former team, Josh, 4th place currently, Mayhem. Wow. And your other
doing
former
very
team, Gladiators, doing pretty well for themselves. However, their fate does belong in their hands, Josh.
Yes, the Gladiators need to win out the rest of the season if they want to get into that Tier 1, which means that they would get straight into the knockout, into the final stages of our playoffs. And they would have to beat the Mayhem and the Valiant and the Reign. So the Gladiators need to beat the 3 teams above them in order to get into that 5th place spot, which also would knock the Valiant out of the top 10 and help me win my bet against Custer. So pretty please, could every team just throw against the Gladiators this week? I know that you would be giving up a lot of money and a lot of seeding, a lot of pride on the line as well, but my God, I've got a tiny bit of hair left and I really want to keep it.
Would you mind giving up a ton of money and pride, please, for my bet against Custer so my small pride doesn't get diminished? Thank you very much. Well, here's the team that you're begging that is going to win right on your screens. Kevster, Birdring, OG Space, Big Goose, and Shaz. They've had a bit of a resurgence coming into the late half of the year, Josh, I must say. We've had Mira change up between support, DPS and tank, which has been really nice to see, but it's really been on Kevster and Birdring too, who's just been deadlifting the Gladiators recently. The TP tire, I think, has got to be one of my favorite moments of this year.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch, actually. But for me, the Gladiators always comes down to this tank line. And okay, OG is going to be able to play the Winston, that's great. My focus, though, is going to be on Space here, because Space's Sigma has looked pretty good so far this season. He's going up against Gargoyle in this match, and this might be our last opportunity to see Sigma, honestly. With looking at kind of the playoff nerfs that are coming in the next patch, it seems more likely we're going to be trending away from a kind of double shield look. But we've still seen some of the NA teams running that this week, so we might see Space back on his signature role on the Diva, but if not, here's how he stands head to head against Gargoyle when it comes to that Sigma. You can see the Gargoyle has the better end of almost all of the statistics just in a pure individual basis, but the one team-based stat, the accretion stun kill rate, which is how many times the accretion stun hits and that player is actually killed, is really quite high, kind of indicating that Space is communicating effectively and getting people to follow up on what he's trying to do.
Yeah, stats don't normally tell the whole story, but when it's kind of really one-sided, it's like, okay, well, Sigma tends to be the better off tank in this situation. However, one thing I will say with this kind of stuff is that normally when the team is just kind of owning, especially the off-tank play, you're getting a lot of free damage in. You're getting a lot of work done. I think Gargoyle especially is one for that. There is the Florida starters, of course, Gargoyle and Fate on the tank role. Gangnam Jin, who is one of my players to look out for this year, and I think is MVP candidate or one of the 2 on this team. Chris, BQB, and Yaki. That's their DPS.
Yeah, Gangnam Jin, not literally an MVP finalist. That would be Yaki, but thank you, George, for inserting your own MVP finalists into the race. I'm sure everyone really appreciates that. You can't go out and vote for Gangnam Jin. You can vote for Yaki if you believe you can. This season. Which I'm going to be really interested to see how this one plays out, to be honest, because Yaki in their previous match, in this current hero pool and meta, we saw Yaki being pushed onto the Sombra role. It's not a role that he's normally playing. It doesn't allow him to carry as much, and he normally is that focal MVP kind of player, the locus of damage and the tip of the spear for the Florida Mayhem. Instead, a lot of that is now going to fall onto BQB to be able to deliver that, as well as Fate and Gargoyle. So I'm interested to see if Birdring can just come out and dominate that matchup like he's been doing so well recently. He's revitalized his career. If he can come out and dominate BQB, then I still feel fairly good about the Gladiators' chances.
I would too. The resurgence has got to just insert so much confidence into Gladiators. Just seeing one of your players pop off like that feels pretty good, regardless of, I think, what team you're in at the end of the day, right?
You also,
and I think,
by the way, you also know that Birdring is a big playoff player. Throughout his history, he's turned up for the big matches. He hasn't been great throughout regular season generally in 2018 and 2019, but when he played for the London Spitfire, if there was one match he would turn up for, it was that big match towards the end of the season. So if the Gladiators can get in there, or if Birdring starts to heat up now on the run-up to the playoffs, then this could be pretty dangerous territory, and the Gladiators might look a lot better than they have done earlier on in 2020.
No, they're going to have to, and like you said previously, the fate is in their hands. They need to be winning these next few games that they have, and winning against the teams that literally stand in their way. So it's pretty a terrifying prospect, but if Birdring can step up, then the rest of the Gladiators can too. Bit of a different comp here from both teams. We've got Yaki on the Junk, and then we have Birdring on the Sombra. Florida Mayhem's goal and game plan here is just make it to point. With the double shields, ideally you just want to sit there, just have Yaki just spam away, and with BQB or Yaki, to be fair, getting damage boosted, it's going to be a good sign, but he ends up going down first with this nasty off angle from Kevster. However, BQB does end up taking him out, but with Big Goose and Space just lurking around, Kevster's going to get rezzed.
Yeah, really nice play from Kevster to find that initial pick, but he ends up going down again to BQB, who's just on a tear. Bear in mind, we haven't seen the Gladiators play so far in this meta, and I thought it would be Birdring that came out with the hit scan here. And instead, if it's a Kevster versus BQB, I don't know whether BQB is really going to be challenged as much. I feel like as much as Kevster's been fantastic so far this season, it's been less so on pure hit scan, and BQB has been excelling on the Ashe.
His game just walled. Like, this guy is... Look, he's just taking the duel out in the open. Now he's backing off because he knows the tank's around the corner. But ideally now, like I said before, they just want to be able to sit on point. They have Bob too, which is really big. It's going to be up to Birdring to, I think, initiate into this fight. He's 15% away, so I wouldn't be too surprised if they just kind of wait for his EMP. Because what else tools do you really have? I mean, you can dive in with a Winston, but look what's going to happen. Bob's going to get sent out, OG gets sent to space, and now he's under half HP and has to back out. Kevster does end up going down with a damage boost headshot. OG makes his way to the back line, killing off Fate. That's the initiation tools they needed, and maybe they didn't need the EMP after all. But Yaki's tie is going to be big, though. Kevster and OG end up falling down, but the resurrection is close by. Birdring in the 1v1 with Space helping, finishing off Gargoyle. It's going to be a good start for the Gladiators. Now they can eventually make their way onto the point. A lot of stalling potential, though, and they haven't really made their mark on the point just yet. You can see it's kind of empty as they do try and clean up the rest of the fight. Yaki falls, BQB making his way back in with the help of the Immortality field, but he gets shoved away, and the Gladiators end up capping.
Pretty good play by OG at the beginning of that fight. Takes the nano boost, goes in, disengages to get more heals, and goes back in after Fate doesn't have the Immortality field anymore. That's a nice EMP engagement to immediately kill BQB. They can't overchase though. They've got to be able to back off here. And Yaki's actually made the swap back over to the Sombra. So that's what we've been seeing in play for the majority of their games, or their only other game, in this meta so far. So that plays into the Gladiators' hands, I think.
What a fantastic hack. Yeah, Yaki, oh my goodness. He's just kind of out in the open, just chilling, just vibing, trying to get damage off. He just gets tagged and instantly killed to come trans, okay? Fate's going to fall as well. I mean, this is the problem with the Mayhem comp too. They now have ults, of course, so they can use Supercharger to kind of gain space, but it's going to be a tough ask for them, especially as OG has the Primal Rage as well. So yeah, all he needs to really do is dodge the hack, to be honest. 40% build, 50% sorry, building up now.
Very hard to push in for the Florida Mayhem with this double shield, against the Primal Rage and a Nano Boost. You just end up getting pushed back. There's nothing you can do to hold your ground. You can use Fortify, sure, but you'll probably die to the Nano Boost. So they're going to pop their own tank in reply here, but OG with the Primal and the Nano just straight up in their face.
I mean, it's almost telegraphed, right? Immortality field's going to go down fairly early as well, Jimmy. The Primal Rage is there with the Rock meeting him, but OG isn't going down too quickly. That health pack's paying dividends as well, mind you. Gladiators have got that hacked, so that's more actual healing than a Mercy beam with that large health pack regenerating. However, look at this. Yaki's actually on the payload, on the point even, and they do end up contesting eventually, but Mayhem still find the flip. Little bit of extra free time and denial of percent for the Gladiators. The EP comes out for Birdring though, but sorry, I can't see how many members are hacked, Josh. Let me count. Oh, 0. BQB ends up killing off 2, and Gargoyle ends up getting res. They managed to find the flip, the Gladiators, and with Kevster getting back up, they might be able to recontest. However, Space losing his mech without a self-destruct is bad news. Gladiators are going to be able to tick this one into OT, but now Florida Mayhem have the upper hand with the EMP of their own.
Oh, that is an egregious mistake from Birdring. He runs in when the fight was already going in favor of the Gladiators. They'd already found opening picks. Yeah, the point was flipped over, but they were winning the team fight, and you still had an EMP to be able to work with. And then he just throws it away. That was the biggest way that the Gladiators were going to come back in this first round, and it doesn't bode well for their overall plans here. They're still going to be able to trigger overtime. They've still got a nano boost, so it's not over yet, but they're at a massive disadvantage.
Oh, what a disgusting EMP. He catches both tanks too. Luckily, OG receives the nano boost, so he's going to be a little bit more hardy now. However, Birdring going down with Bob on the point. This is just a matter of time, it feels like now. Space ejected from the mech, instantly killed off, and OG goes down to Bob as well. This is going to be all over. Mayhem, they're going to be able to take Night Market and take the first stage. And yeah, the EMP was the one thing that they needed. Really the one thing that you can rely on too for consistency with the Gladiators comp, because I mentioned before, it's hard for the Florida Mayhem to get to the point, especially when OG has the Primal Rage and they have Nano Boost, because they can just get bashed around. But once they are on the point, what is really going to stop them from just kind of hunkering down? Not much, apart from that big EMP.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's a massive mistake and a bit of a choke at the end of that round from the Gladiators. Hopefully that doesn't happen throughout this series as well, because otherwise that was a really close first round. Both teams with different styles that suit their own gameplay as well. Florida Mayhem have been such a good double shield team so far this season. And the Gladiators have looked a lot better when they play the Winston. So it all made sense up until that final EMP. And now we've got the Junkrat mirror. Yaki coming out here on the Doom as well, which is so powerful against the symmetric. Style.
Yeah, he's Doom, bro. Here it is. He's going to go in and get instantly killed. Oh, and he's 1 HP. No, actually gets healed up. Oh, there he is. I told you he was going to go down. You're against a Junkrat and a Sim. Like, what else can you do? He has to switch, man. As soon as you get onto the backline, the turrets are hitting you, slowing you down, then Birdring just spams left click and maybe hits shift every now and then. And the concussion mines are going to blow Doomfist away. Plus, Doomfist on this map, I think it can be quite effective, especially if you have control of the point, because you can take high ground fairly easily. It doesn't look like they're actually going to stick on it, Josh, so questions in my mind is how he's actually going to interact here with Kevster and Birdring, because Shaz and Big Goose, they're tough targets to take down on their own if you are the Doomfist. They're going to go for this engagement. Chris ends up falling down instantly, and this is a reset for the Florida Mayhem here. They are going to invest Cole, however, as they do send Yaki in once again, but Wall, Tyre, Birdring going to the back line with this one, using the wall to his advantage, or at least some of it. Ends up getting taken out at the end, but actually bought a lot of space for them.
That wall did not help the Tyre whatsoever. Really weirdly placed wall coming out from Kevster. And Yaki's still struggling to get value, but it's this. Oh, he got caught in the trap as well.
Someone help him, please. He kills Kevster though. Smash him against the wall and use the Meteor Strike instantly. Pull, Meteor Strike! Oh, it's big. Immortality Field got forced, but so much damage was laid down that the healers couldn't keep up. Big Goose came out with the beat too, but it wasn't good enough. Yaki ends up falling down, but the Florida Mayhem, they found what they needed and they can capture the point now. Oh, it's so good.
I'm on fire.
Oh, he's gone. Oh my god. No, he's not swapping. He air straight to the right. Oh, Yaki. Oh, we've lost Josh after that I think we've lost Josh. So after that, yep, hat came off, and now Josh is pretty mad. He's actually just decided to quit the cast. Not surprising. BQB ends up going down after getting a 4-man flash panic, and Big Goose finishes him off. Beautiful Flux, though. Not really much you could do against the Flux in the control room, or in the server room even. Oh dear, this is going to be another fight one here from the Mayhem. Yaki has got this ult again, so they just once more want to set up with the Hulk into the Meteor Strike. Fate gets the nice little tactical crouch, and Josh is back. Welcome.
Yeah, I think that the Gladiators here should have a better neutral game, though, because Yaki's now got some deliberate counter coming out from Kevster. Like, the damage that comes out from Kevster can't really be avoided. It just comes down to whether Florida can chain together their ults properly. But now they've run out of ults to chain. So unless Yaki comes out with a big kill here, I think the next fight should go the way of the Gladiators, and they can hold on for a while.
Nice little bit of position there from Yaki. He's waiting for the Hulk now. Ty's going to come out from Birdring too, so they're going to have to really step into the, pedal to the metal at this point. Like, they have to do something. Birdring's Ty's going to run out soon. Is it going to explode? Oh, it's dead. It's gone. BQB sniped it. The point does get flipped over, however, and Yaki is still pretty low, so it's up to the Gladiators now to try and force them away. They're going to do that with a beat in the high noon. They don't find all too much. There's the Flux. Space gets taken low, but they still manage to find the damage. Birdring with just the left clicks on the low HP targets after the Flux managed to find a couple of kills. And one thing I want to say here real quick, Josh, is Yaki's Doomfist, there's a lot of angles you can take, especially through these small corridors where you can punch around a corner. So you can kind of position yourself where, because the corner isn't exact like a square, it's more like rounded, like the hitbox is kind of rounded. You can punch all the way through these small corridors and land on the other side without you actually hitting into a wall, so you can come out of nowhere almost. You might see Yaki do it here. Well, he's not even going to try to. In fact, he's just going to jump straight in.
This is such a difficult position for the Gladiators. Everybody's going to go so weak.
Oh, wait a second! They don't touch! Oh. Disaster has struck.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
That's really, really fortunate for the Gladiators. I mean, as much as they threw away round 1, they have just been gifted round 2. Because the Florida Mayhem had a massive ult advantage there. Yeah, Shaz's Ant Matrix was in the way. So in theory, the Florida Mayhem would have taken a lot of damage had they gone to touch the point. But they had a Lucio and a Doomfist.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. BQB rolling to his team. And there you go.
I think
so Yaki and Chris were
I think that was a
there,
sick
so
play by Big Goose. I think that was a sick play by Big Goose to boop them away there. I think I just caught, I think Yaki went for an uppercut, and he booped like 3 of them away from the point.
Well, now they're in completely different clubs. Yaki's actually jumped over to the Echo. So Echo versus Farah. And then we have Birdring and BQB on the Sombras. His position already. Oh, and Space has lost the mech already. Wow, that took no time at all
to play as the Diva here, though, because you are getting hacked and also laser beamed down from the sky. I mean, what does Space do against this comp coming out from the Florida Mayhem? There's no way that the Gladiators are going to be able to win because they can't slow down the game enough for Kevster to get any value. Kevster takes time to do damage in these fights, and the Florida Mayhem are just going to be able to get hacks and laser beams and be able to get the kills before you can do anything.
Yeah, Kev's has now switched over to the Ashe instead, so yeah, recognize that almost instantly. Does get slept, but it won't mean a whole bunch. Less than Nate does. Oh, the stick bombs went a little bit over his head, but yeah, he's good. Yaki's, look how fast he's built up his ult as well, Josh. He's already up to 75%. This poke damage, especially with the damage boost, is just egregious. They have nano boost as well. They might just send Fate in. They do just that. He gets slipped in the back line, but Space has been creative for Yaki to do damage. Gangnam G does get hacked in the back line, but there's no follow-up for the Gladiators, and Fate just makes it back, basically scot-free. Kevster almost got instantly evaporated too by the sticky bombs, so it's going to be a go again for the Gladiators, but they're running into EMP and a duplicate here from Yaki, but he gets taken down already. The EMP's good. They nano OG in too, and that's the damage been done. Chris and BQB go down. They eventually make it their way to the point, but not a bad start for the Mayhem at all here, Josh. 45% of building? Hey, I wouldn't scoff at that at all.
Yeah, not terrible, but at the same time, the Gladiators didn't have to use anything other than a nano boost there, and BQB's already invested his EMP, so that was a bit of a tragic EMP in the middle of that fight. Only caught on OG, who was already nanoed anyway, so it's not like they could even kill him. And now Gladiators have the positioning on the point and an ult advantage to be able to work with. And Kevster's in a position where he can just hit shots.
Oh, that EMP. I don't think Yaki was expecting that. Fate definitely wasn't. That is a go again. No, Yaki's actually going to use the ult. It'll change into the Diva, trying to get some value, but you can see almost instantly taken out of the mech. and he gets hacked too. So yeah, he is out of there rather quickly. I wonder if he's going to change at this point, because that was extraordinarily aggressive, especially as they didn't have Fate. Fate does rejoin the fight with the nano boost in tow, but they're able to pocket Shaz to make sure he stays alive. But during that pocket, Kevster just went down because both the healers were on the bridge. And now Fate making sure he survives with the Primal Rage all the way near their spawn, doing a little bit of surfing as well. Managed to make it back to the rest of his team. Florida Mayhem have planted themselves on the point. It's up to the Gladiators now to try and stall this out. They're going to do that with a nano boost as OG finds himself into the back line of the Florida Mayhem, but he instantly gets slept.
Very nice two-man dive coming out from BQB and Fate at the beginning of that fight to be able to take down Shaz, who's also bionated now and under pressure as Yaki gets rezzed in his team fight. The Gladiators don't want to give up, but that bomb catches OG, and that's going to signal the end of the engagement for the Gladiators. They've got to give up. They've got to try and back off and take as few casualties as possible.
He actually almost killed Big Goose there as well. He was actually floating down to the bottom of the map. Luckily, someone peeked him on the edge, so he stays alive, but it still means a lot of time has been burnt here. 80% and really only one fight for the Glads now. They need to go quickly. They have EMP, but so do the main. Oh, Yaki gets hacked! Oh, the biggest EMP! Birdring manages to catch him, and Yaki takes a dive. And Anubis on the Winston there, make sure he survives through the hack. And now the Gladiators have to touch the point, and there's only 5% remaining.
What an insane play from Gangnam-jin in the middle of that as well. He slept OG as he was jumping around and managed to knock him off the map as well. So he kind of countered what Birdring had done to Yaki. And now we've just got a crazy final fight as Space is the one that has actually taken the nano boost because OG had died. But OG is coming back with the Primal Rage as well. It does seem winnable here for both teams.
Yeah, both Shaz and Gangnam-jin are dead, so they haven't got a lot of the healing left. In fact, no healing now from Florida Mayhem, who end up losing Chris in the chaos. Yaki has popped the Primal Rage after he transforms into the Winston, and Kevster ends up going down. OG has got a Primal Rage of his own, but might be able to just hold the points down alone. I mean, realistically, what have you got here for the Mayhem? Chris is coming back on the Lucio, but he hasn't got too many heals. Gladiators eventually end up capping the point as Birdring finishes off Yaki, who was the only one thing standing in their way. And now the regroup of the century here for Florida Mayhem. They do manage to find the sleep onto OG, who is extraordinarily low and gets taken out by Fate. So now it might just be a continuation of this fight. Gangnam-jin gets pushed off the edge by Space, though. I take it all back. Shaz is going to make it back on the Moira. And now it is a 1-for-1-for-1-for-1-for-1. Both teams trading backwards and forwards. But it's 20% before Gladiators can claim the map. And EMP is going to come out and rattle their brains. And look at this. 4 people hacked. Shaz and Big Goose go down. A self-destruct and the Primal Rage are going to do enough for the Florida Mayhem to find a semblance in this fight. They end up trying to capture the point, but OG comes back with the Primal Rage to try and stall out some additional time.
OG's bought enough time for them to be able to go for one last recontest perhaps. If anyone can touch, they'll still gonna have an EMP. This fight is still not quite over yet for the Gladiators.
That's a big EMP. 4 people, however, Gangnam-jin did nano BQB, so he didn't go instantly down. Big Goose in Space is dead. This surely should be it. There goes Birdring as well. Only the Wrecking Ball on the point. OG has done so much this map to try and keep this point in favor of the Gladiators, but it wasn't quite enough. The Florida Mayhem, after a very scrappy Night Gardens, managed to take the map and put themselves to the 1-0 up in the series so far.
That was a very close first opening map, though. Every round could have gone the other way. Every single one. If the Gladiators hadn't thrown away the EMP on map 1, if Big Goose hadn't booped everyone away from the point on round 2, and if the chaos and carnage that we saw on Gardens there had gone the other way, you know, one pick being able to flip-flop one way or the other, we could have seen the Gladiators come out on top as well. It's clear to me that the Gladiators are actually able to go toe-to-toe with the Mayhem when it comes to these Winston comps. They just need to tighten some things up. Space, by the way, is still having an electric game on the Diva. He looks like he's right back to his old peak form. Sigma, I think, didn't fit him quite as well, but on the Diva, he's able to just be so active all the time.
Well, we're going to jump to a quick break. Map number 2 coming up soon. You're not going to want to miss it.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles Wavy. Big crunch, big flavor.
Hey guys, welcome back. First map, a little bit scrappy. When I say a little bit, I mean a lot. It was very scrappy. Yeah, it was Florida Mayhem and the Gladiators facing off against each other for the Gladiators' pride, really. I mean, Florida, they've locked in fourth spot, Josh. And the Gladiators right now do need to win their next few games in order to secure themselves a bye. So they really need to be able to pull back. Yeah. In this series. We do have a substitution, and I'm scratching my head, and you are scratching yours as well. We do have Mira coming in, and he's going to be replacing Big Goose for people with Brick Band.
Yeah, I'm scratching my hat at this one because I don't get it. Right, first of all, I thought Mira would actually be potentially their Sombra player with Birdring in this meta, because that allows Birdring to play the hit scan, where he's been looking really good recently, and Mira's Sombra stats are actually some of the best in the league. I don't think his Sombra is some of the best, but it indicates that there's some kind of potential there in terms of maybe the synergy, or he's really good at calling so that he gets good follow-up on whatever he does. Instead, they've got Mira in on support, and he's previously played support for the team, right? So that's not too crazy, but he always played Brigitte, and Brigitte is out of the hero pool. And also, Jaws, he lost every map when he played Brigitte. I'm not saying that was his fault, but he did lose every time when they subbed him in to play support here. So I don't get it. Like, the only thing that I can possibly theorize is that they're running BAP Zen, and they feel like Mira's better on the BAP than Big Goose is? Very confusing. Josh. Am I trying too hard to make sense of just pure end-of-season madness? Have we all just lost our minds? Have they been in lockdown for too long?
I think what we actually need to do here, hear me out,
okay,
is check Custer's bank balance. I need to see if any money is mysteriously left his account, because interesting. He might just win that bet, Josh, you know? I mean, hey.
Yeah. I mean, he would have to be... With the amount of money that is on the line in terms of the Overwatch League playoffs, it is huge this year. And in terms of, like, the motivation of all of these teams to do really well as well, I mean, Custer would be having to put bribes in the eight-figure kind of bribes. I don't think that man can put 2 pennies together. He looks broke. I mean, the way that he dresses indicates that he's broke. So.
Okay, you need to chill. Okay, you're not on the desk, so he can't fight back, but hey, you got to calm down, man. You have to join him again in a second, and I'm sure he's got some pretty harsh words to say. I think that's just an Australian thing, though. Mitch does the same thing, but hey, who am I to say? He's not here to defend himself either. Anyway, Florida Mayhem on the defense, and we do have Mira on the BAP. So yeah, we can work kind of right. We were talking about it in the break too. We do have Mira on the BAP, and we have Shaz on the Zen. I don't mind this at all as well on the defense. Ouch. Well, yeah, he's dead. That's unfortunate.
Double Sniper could be really good in a playoff kind of meta as well, and obviously on Havana, it's one of the best strategies you can use, especially for point A, because everything's so wide open. But Space was just way ahead of his team there. No possible shielding coming out from OG, and these are some of the issues that the Gladiators have been having when they run double shield. By far and away, the Mayhem look like the more coordinated team when it comes to the tank gameplay in double shield. So we're really relying on Kevstra and Birdring to make magic happen here on offense.
There's a lot of pressure on Mira too, mind you, because the healing output from the Zen, single target, of course, without the Transcendence, and only 30 HPS. Also, Shaz is in... where is Shaz? I think he's on... I think he's still on the D-Shaz.
I think that part of the map is called Narnia.
Yeah.
He is in Narnia right now.
I mean, he's going to make the cross. And
sorry, I read it wrong. It's Nirvana. That's what that sign says.
Oh, there you go. Is Shaz just going to go down? Yeah. Oh, my word, that was close. So you have to be extra... And Mira dies to Fate. Okay, so now you have to reset. My point was, Mira's under such a lot of pressure here because the Zen could only heal one target at a time without Transcendence, right? And Mira has got a shift to heal himself because he can't right-click before and heal himself. So Mira not only has to pay attention to Shaz, but the way they were playing there, if Shaz gets kind of owned or like chunked out, you have to just put all your heals into him to make sure he stays alive, because Jackie's going to permanently be looking for him. He's almost got EMP up now as well. He has sights, and they also have Supercharger. They basically got everything. Gangnam Jin's the furthest one away because he hasn't done enough damage because people die before they even initiate a fight.
I think they're just playing this comp wrong as well. I think the Birdring should be trying to get up onto the high ground, potentially with like somebody else to be able to hold it with him, but you need crossfire when it comes to your sniper.
This is easy.
Oh, BQB's already killed Space as well.
See, he didn't even need to EMP there. He hacked Mirror to make sure he couldn't immortality field, but the team were already dead. You use what? Yeah. One ult there. Mirror used window. Chris also used the window. So 1 minute and 20 seconds remains, and Florida may have everything. Shaz needs to hide to make sure they don't get EMP'd, but you can just do a little bit of flow chart, right? You EMP, they transcendence, then you fly.
Yeah. It's disappointing at the moment because they're not really making it difficult for the Florida Mayhem. Florida are just having their way with everything. I mean, they should be winning the shield engagement here, the Gladiators. They have all the extra damage coming out from the Hanzo. But instead, it's Space that has been dying earlier.
What is this? Oh, BQB does end up going down, though. So this game members in. This is really good. Kevster with this nasty off angle. Immortality Field is going to save the rest of the Florida Mayhem from that small room, but they're just going to get chased up on. That was almost a perfect situation for the Florida Mayhem to be in. They forced Transcendence with the Flux, then they hit EMP coming up, but Kevster with a nice off angle picks up one, and then Birdring picks off the next. So now they're in a good spot. However, Mayhem, they could be able to recontest. They're going to have to rely on the CMP, though.
I think this would be a bad idea to recontest here, though, because all of their tanks are going to be pushing out into the double.
Recontest.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't matter anymore. Shaz died.
He missed the shot. Yeah, and EMP is going to come out, and in fact, I don't think they even need it. Mirror can't even use Immortality Field to save his tanks to the front line from going down. Space ends up falling over, and now Gladiators have 5 seconds remaining. Kevster falls, and they still have ults. They have the EMP. Yaki's not even been able to use it because this team is just winning the neutral. The Gladiators are going to get held on this first point. That's going to be it. Oh, look at that. An EMP and a Transcendence, but they didn't even need it at the end. Oh, disaster strikes.
Yeah, that's such a disappointing performance for the Gladiators.
Perfect team fight for the Mayhem to start off with. They managed to pick the Zen as well.
BQB is just an absolute monster. He's killed Space twice at the beginning of these fights, and then he kills Shaz at the end there as well. And BQB is pushing into a double sniper composition that are already set up on high ground, and he still finds the kill there, the crucial opening pick. How on earth is he able to do that? It should be so difficult for the Florida Mayhem to push out into all of the damage from the Hanzo on the high ground, the extra crossfire coming out from Kevster on the Widowmaker as well. And Fate and Gargoyle just waltz out like they're picking daisies, and then BQB finds a headshot to find the opening pick. There's no difficulty here for the Florida Mayhem when they're taking these fights. It's almost like Birdring is invisible on the Hanzo.
Look at this. Oh, that angle is fucking disgusting. Whoops a daisy, I didn't mean to say that. That angle is actually disgusting on Shaz. My word.
It's the double Brits together, you know? It's the casual atmosphere.
Last cast. Unlucky. Anyway, apologies
I'll be
for that.
And Hex next week.
Yeah, it looks like it, I think. Okay, Florida Mayhem, what have they got really here? I mean, realistically, because the Gladiators are holding so far back as well, because they're not pushing up to the payload, they've only got one fight.
Yeah, it should, in theory, be a very easy map win here for the Florida Mayhem. If they can sync up a single EMP well, then they should be able to dominate. There's a lot of pressure now on Kevster and Birdring to hit shots that they otherwise wouldn't even need to. They have to hit some miraculous level shots and just turn this in favor of the Gladiators every single time. That's a good start.
I want them to play forward, though. I mean, ideally, right now, I guess you let the payload get to this position and then you hold this corner, but it feels like a forward hold would have been a little bit better. They have a lot of shield pressure, like you said, Josh, especially with the Hanzo, so actually getting onto the payload might be a little bit more difficult for the Mayhem, but then I guess you're also waiting for Yaki to get a hack on somebody too and then initiate on that, so they don't want to really expose their backs and give up a lot of space in the backline.
Bear in mind as well that the double sniper is much more effective on defense. So while Birdring wasn't really able to get that much done on attack, he has all of the angles he needs on defense. It really comes down to Yaki and how much value he can get. Can he get kills? Can he get crucial hacks onto somebody like Space? And can he get that EMP quickly? He's at 50% now, but it's taken him a minute and a half.
I think so. Kev's is playing this angle really defensively too. Unfortunately, there was a shield in the way there, otherwise that would have been a headshot to BQB. And look how far they're already pushed up, Josh. No one's touching the payload just yet. As I say that, a couple of people hop on. You want to make every fight worth it. Chris going down's good. Gangnam Jin, only healer left, so not really much else you can do. Yeah, Fate falling here. This should just be it. Although Yaki does end up picking up a late kill onto Shaz. It might be okay for a quick recontest now. Okay, BQB is also dead. But one EMP is already going to do it. Look how much ult charge Yaki's built up here.
It's still not great, though, for the Gladiators. They're getting really late spawns on space here, and Yaki is just going to come back into the fight after the tanks have already established positioning. The Gladiators have to give up a lot of room here because they just don't have their second tank. That pick, though, I think through the Amp Matrix is enormous from Kevster, and the follow-up is beautiful as well. Now, these are the shots that they needed to hit to make the miracle happen. To make this double sniper work on the defense, they need to be hitting shots like that. But the worst is yet to come for the Gladiators because Yaki still has the EMP. These picks, they need to happen even more so once Yaki gets into position.
They have to play split, though. I mean, Shaz is going to be in Narnia like he was before, right? He has to use this Transcendence to counter this EMP, but then Gargoyle's Flux is going to be big.
Another one
goes down. Kevster kills 2 people straight off. Okay, you go again. 1 minute remaining. You have EMP. You have the Flux. You just need to reset ASAP.
And the thing is, the Gladiators are getting so many picks with these double snipers now that they're on defense that Yaki can't even wait for his team to get into position. Yaki's there like, guys, come on, I'm ready to EMP them, I'm ready. But by the time the tanks have approached, Fate's already died, or somebody else in the backline has already died. So there's nothing more that Yaki can really do. He's already there waiting to EMP them. The Florida Mayhem just need to escort the rest of their players safely into position and hope Kevster and Birdring don't hit these ridiculous shots.
That's a nice supercharger. Kevster is just, trying not to get picked off by the Sombra.
They can't beat the Infosite. This is going to come down to like the last 10 seconds, and it's still anyone's game.
They know Infosite's going down in a couple of seconds, though, Josh. There you go. It's down already. One final push in. Kevster on the off angle again. They know Gray's coming this time around. There's the Flux. Birdring is so low as well. He crashes back down. 4 HP. Someone save him. Immortality Field just comes out in time. But Yaki now with the EMP. He's going to line this up. However, the EMP is going to come out, but gets met with an early Transcendence from Transcendence. This is absolutely huge. Shaz healing everybody up through the EMP. Space is still going to get discorded, though, and sent extremely low. They can still survive as long as Shaz stays alive. A Mirror on this off angle, doing his best DPS BAP impression, too. Space gets dragged back in and Fate finishes the kill. And now OG is the only surviving tank player that just needs to stay alive to find semblance on the point. BQB is going to make sure Birdring can't get near the payload as well. The final fight. OT was here, but Florida Mayhem make it work. 2-0 in the series now as they manage to push the payload in just before that first point.
God, what a tense closing moment to that map. It looked like the Gladiators were going to be able to do it, but at the end of the day, in the final team fight, the one that mattered most, even though Shaz was there with the reaction Transcendence to save them from the EMP, the snipers didn't kill anything. Kevster and Birdring, although they had been amazing at even getting the Gladiators to that position, when it came to that final engagement, they weren't hitting those big shots they needed to hit. And they're under a lot of pressure because obviously the Florida Mayhem's tanks are now right up in their face and they don't have the same nice angles. But that's what could have separated it. That's what could have won the map there for the Gladiators. The snipers did a great job at getting them there, but when they just needed that push over the line, Birdring was too busy looking for Yaki and Kevster just couldn't get the right angle.
I mean, what carried the 2 fights previous to that last one, right? It was Kevster hitting shots. Yeah. And that's what a good Widowmaker does. If you can just pick off the supports or just amp Matrix and kill a tank, you're going to win these fights just handily. It just last fight, they were like, okay, we know where he's going to be positioned. It's pretty obvious at this point. We're going to just hope this EMP and Flux combo works. Shaz, even with the big Transcendence, couldn't save him. We're going to jump to a quick break. Josh is going to hop over to the desk. We'll see you in a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by HyperX. Unleash your style, unleash your fury with HyperX Fury Memory. And by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to the game break presented by Cheez-It Grooves. It's Reinforce here with my trusty analysts. It's Costa, as well as Sideshow, who's apparently also now the color commentator of the game. Welcome back to the game break in our desk here.
I don't know who that weird guy with the doofus-looking hat is. I've just been here watching the games on the desk all day long. That was Other Hex.
The Other Hex?
Yeah.
Does he have a name?
He just comes out occasionally. No, just Other Hex. That's all he responds to. Sometimes he responds to Eggman with hat, but I don't know what that means.
All right. Well, he had a nice looking hat. I wonder where he bought that anyway. Might look into that. Gotta ask Other Hex about that. But we had a match going on, of course. And I mean, the Florida Mayhem are up 2-0. But this match has been so back and forth, Costa. In every moment of the series, every team fight has been close. Like, what are your thoughts on this matchup so far between the Gladiators and the Mayhem?
This is probably one of the closest matches we've seen in such a long time. This could have gone back and forth. This could have easily been Gladiators up 2-0, and no one would have blinked an eye because everything has gone to 99, especially in the first round. And that second map on Havana was so close. That was one extra shot, one extra anything. If the Gladiators had even a little bit better of an offense, they probably would have won Havana. So going straight to the edge, and you just love to see this kind of back and forth from these two teams, even if it is just pure chaos.
It really is chaos, though, isn't it? Especially on map 1 when they're playing the Winston compositions. It seems like neither of the teams want to give an inch to the other one. I appreciate the confidence and how you feel like you can always turn around a team fight, but there's no structure to it. Oh, that sleep dart was so good.
Yeah. Truly a sleep dart. But I mean, we talk about chaos a lot when it comes to these teams. Philadelphia Fusion is obviously a team we talk a lot that is playing sort of like ranked, like they're putting all their eggs in the Carpe basket and let him flank, and they're kind of playing a very loose style. And the Gladiators have done this similarly this entire season. But when you see some of these mistakes, Costa, like do you tell your team to like maybe stop being so proactive, or do you just want to keep doing the same thing until it works? Like, how do you approach this as a coach of the LA Gladiators?
I think it's all about just limiting the number of mistakes that are happening and sort of putting yourselves in position where those can happen, because that seems to be the major issue, and we're going to look at it in a second, of what is going wrong with the Gladiators. The aggressive brawl style is working for them, and I think it definitely fits the style that they want to play. It just seems to be falling short, or they seem to be making critical errors at the closing moments that are really costing them this series right now.
Like, look at that, where Space just wanders out into BQB's sightline. I feel like they made so many errors on offense that cost them the map overall. And even the composition, like, if you want to stick to the double sniper is amazing on defense. Kevster and Birdring hit some nasty shots on defense, Havana point A. But on offense, they never tried to take the high ground advantage. They never tried to take positioning before they engage. Space and OG were always really far forwards before they'd even really done too much damage to the shields of the Florida Mayhem. So I feel like they came up with the composition because they'd probably been doing so well with it on defense in scrims, and they just didn't find value with it on attack.
Yeah, and also I think we have to address Mirror came in on the Baptiste as well, Costa. You are a main support. Did you see a big difference between Mirror and Big Goose in playstyle, or what was your reasoning behind this substitution, you think?
I don't know what's going on in the background. It doesn't seem like the coaching staff of the Gladiators, and even Big Goose himself said he doesn't feel that comfortable on the brig. But we saw Mirror come in to play the Baptiste this time, which is a very interesting player. We don't see many teams moving the DPS player into that Baptiste role, and you saw him struggle a little bit at times. Some of the mechanics were just a little off when they really needed to be on point. So you can't question too much. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but it definitely did not work out for them on Havana.
Yeah, statistically, he still sits at a 0% win rate, by the way, when Mirror is playing support. Yeah. I'm not saying that Mirror's the problem, because I didn't look at that map and think, oh, Mirror's throwing. What is he doing? He's playing so badly. But there's like a trend here, maybe because they're breaking up the existing team synergies. Maybe it's just luck. But they haven't had any results running that kind of stuff.
Well, they do have map 3 to try that on, so maybe we'll see if they bring him in again. But before that, we of course have the crunch time presented by Cheez-It Grooves. And this time, we picked out one moment on Lijiang Tower that really set the tone for this matchup. It was Birdring using his EMP in a rather one fight, dare I say, Costa here. This really set the tone for the rest of the series. We saw a lot of erratic ultimate come out from both teams. Is it a bit too much from the Gladiators here? Or are you trying a bit too hard, perhaps, with your ultimates?
See, I don't even think this is erratic, and I don't. We've seen it throughout the entirety of the series. I just think it's this is just a misplay individually, and in every sense of the word. You're up 6v4. There is no need to rush onto this point. If they don't use this EMP, they probably end up capping this round. And we've seen this consistently throughout time after time of maps they could have won. We saw the exact same thing on Gardens, on Lijiang, where they had like 4 ultimates, but they wanted to hold them for the last fight, to the point where Florida just used their ults and they lost that round because of it. They need to be smarter about how they're using and not just expecting things to fall into place. Stop being greedy. Stop trying too hard to sort of win the game on your own. They have the game, the teamwork, they have the strategy. Just let it all play out.
Oh, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to go on because I feel a bit queasy after watching that in slow motion. Everyone jumped away from BQB and he got 2 kills, and then they're chasing a Mercy and she gets the Resurrect off as well to turn a 6v4 fight into a 4v5. Oh, that one makes me feel ill.
It was rough to watch at times.
As someone who predicted the LA Gladiators, don't feel too great about this one, but it's not over yet. It's not over yet. The Florida Mayhem, they're up 2-0 so far in this series, but we've seen many reverse sweeps. So if you're a Gladiators fan in chat, don't lose hope, because there is still hope. We're heading over to King's Row, and for our casters, it's going to be Jaws and Hex. No, sorry, other Hex.
The Hex.
The Hex.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. Deep flavor, deep crunch. It's a mind crunch. The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back. It is me and a person that resembles actually what I've just thought about. Actually, a Lego person. You know, where their hats like clip on the top of their heads, but it doesn't like encompass their head. It's just a clip on, like it goes. You know, just
my head's too fat. No hat in existence can fit on this enormous pate. It just doesn't work.
Well, I would hope you use that and put it to good use in this series, Josh, because right now we're seeing Gladiators kind of fall over. In fact, we're seeing Big Goose come back in for Mira, who stepped away this time. So going back to same old, we're going on to King's Row now. But this just has not looked like the Gladiators that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. Kevster denied almost the Florida Mayhem that push onto the first point. Yeah. But they just couldn't quite make it work in the end because the Florida Mayhem ult bank was just too great.
Yeah, I don't know really whether this is a different Gladiators that we're seeing, though, because as we said in the pre-game, we've only seen the Gladiators tested against Dallas and I think it was the Toronto Defiant that they played against recently.
That is
as
true.
Well. No, maybe it was the Boston. I can't exactly remember. Anyway, it was 2 lower level teams, right, that they've got their wins over recently. And so we haven't seen them really play against a good team like the Mayhem. And I actually think, you know, considering how close those first 2 maps were, that this is positive signs for the Gladiators. And definitely this can still be reverse swept. It would require the Gladiators to fix their mistakes, but it is definitely mistakes from the Gladiators that has lost them this series so far. And so if they can rectify that, they're still making all the plays. They are still performing well enough to be able to win this series. So hope is certainly not over yet if you're a Gladiators fan. Or if you've made some kind of ridiculous bet and you're just hoping to God that the Gladiators win. I don't know who would have done that, but, you know, just throwing that out there into the universe in case anyone has.
Yeah, what silly person would make a bet like that? Seems ridiculous, but, you know, I'm not one to judge. Not one to judge, Josh. Josh, who made that bet? Yeah. Josh, yep, Josh.
Yeah, you sound real judgy right about now.
I just like Custer's tweets. They always make me laugh. It's just egging you on and egging the Mayhem on.
Egging. Was that a deliberate pun?
It wasn't actually deliberate either. No, you're wearing the hat, Josh. I thought all of your hair, all of the luscious locks that you've grown over the last couple of weeks,
that's true,
just contained under the hat.
Yeah, no, that is true. That is true. I am interested to see what the Gladiators pull out for us here, because they've shown us an ability to play Winston comps. They've played them pretty well on map 1. And they've also shown us that their double sniper look is something they've worked on. And we've seen double sniper in the past on King's Row. It might be the meta for something in the playoffs. And it hasn't been meta at any point during our season so far. But a Gladiators mirror here, putting too much emphasis on the BQB stuff. They need to change up the comp slightly. I think a direct mirror is not going to get them the value that.
They're going to start Kevster on the hands though, but looks like he just wanted to go for a Sonic Arrow. Didn't really want to go for too much else. He's jumping over to the mate instead. So, I mean, ideally here, you just want to rotate down to the statue and then potentially take the high ground. We've seen the Florida Mayhem right now. They're kind of holding up on high, making sure BQB has a nice little angle, but
it's going
to be hard for them to fight here.
It's all on BQB and Fate, in my opinion, here, because if Fate can stay alive and BQB can hit shots, Florida can turn this around. Oh, the Bionade was filthy from Goddamn. How does he weave a 5-6 man Bionade through the double shields there on high ground?
You're just looking for the points at which they're putting their backs up against the wall, and you're hoping the double shield is like laying on top of each other rather than creating like a testudo formation above you to make sure you don't get splashed. But
excuse me, the what formation?
A testudo formation. The Roman centurions with a testudo formation.
Right, I see. Yeah. I'm sure all the coaches in the Overwatch League teach their players about testudo formations.
Yeah, well, they probably should to save them from Bionades, just saying. Well, they're gonna. Do not question my methods, Josh.
I never will again. Sorry, Master.
No. Please don't say that again either, actually. That was kind of weird. Anyway, Fate doing some nice little work. He's got the Primal Rage here as well. This is going to be a really good tool for them to contest the point, because ideally the Gladiators just want to push the Mayhem off the high ground and then get onto the point after they've done that. Jin walks forward again and just gets utterly destroyed by Space. He tried to go for the Fire Grenade under the shield. The Impy comes out as well, but do they have the damage to follow it up? I don't think they do. OG ends up falling. This is going pretty low as well. Everybody's booped out of LOS. Oh my word. Fate just making sure their lives were just ended instantly. There was nothing that Shaz and Big Goose could do there at all, because everybody was just knocked up into the skies. That's perfect use of the EMP and the Primal Rage. That team fight's gone. Florida Mayhem, they've got 2 ults still left, but the Gladiators struggling to get back onto the point.
What a fight turnaround. That was absurd. But now the Gladiators have got all their ults available here, and the Florida Mayhem have basically just got a Valkyrie and a Nano to be able to work with.
They use Immortality just to save Space.
Not the precious Immo field.
No, the Immo field. It's quicker to say. It's going to become a thing, Josh, okay? I've heard people in my ranked games, I've heard people say it, man. Probably not because of me. There's a lot of
ults available here for the Gladiators. 6 ults up. But Big Goose is surely going to have to use his speed, but they already let Space die, and it's a 3-man beat.
Well, Josh, they're getting crumbled. The impact zone is the front of the Gladiators comp. Space, unfortunately, dying. And Birdring is switched over to Widow. Birdring has had enough. He has left comms, and he is now on Widowmaker.
If Birdring can hit shots, it's a great swap, though, because he might just be the individual that can turn this around and give them an advantage. Because other than that, there's 40 seconds left. It's going to be EMP Bionade and done.
Done. This is it, yeah. Immortality Field isn't really going to save them there either. Everybody has to back far away. His Fate's in the background as well. He's even got the Primal Rage. I mean, invest it, you might as well. Make this fight last as long as possible. 25 seconds do remain. BQB does go down, however, but the resurrection was just too easy for Chris. Fate falls as he went rather aggressive in the back line with very little healing. And now the Gladiators, their time to strike. The ults are in their favor. They have Blizzard. They have the Supercharger as well as they make their way onto the point. Yaki is causing a little bit of pain in the background, but Birdring does melee him eventually and eventually takes him out. The Bob is going to, give him a little bit of space, but this should be over here. I'd be very surprised if Florida Mayhem can come back. Fate also is using the Wrecking Ball to get back to the point. The Self Destruct on top is going to kill 2. Are you kidding me? No, Birdring says not today. Gangnajib is going to go down. Gargoyle is going to get frozen up as well, but Fate gets rezzed by Chris. No, this is over. I've had enough. This is done. You have Shield to animate on the point. Birdring as well has a nasty angle. And doesn't get it taken down by Yaki and gets a nice little headshot. They eventually make it work, but my word, that was a struggle.
A huge struggle for the Gladiators there. So many mistakes in terms of how they're positioned and how they close out fights. And the Florida Mayhem just feel so comfortable investing ultimates in these engagements because time and time again, they've been able to turn them around. I mean, we are up 2-0 in this series because the Florida Mayhem have been able to capitalize on the mistakes of the Gladiators. This needs to be momentum for the Gladiators through Streets Face. They need to find another pick for Birdring or somebody out of position. If not, if you allow Mayhem to have opportunity back into this fight, they're going to be able to take it.
They do nano Fate. This comp, though, from the Gladiators is much better on these second points. Because the streets are so thin and the Maywall can block off. Winston diving in. That nano just, well, it did nothing. Fate is now not up in the high ground. He's been spotted as well, so he's actually in a lot of trouble. Doesn't have the Primal Rage, has to use the bubble fairly early too, and they're actually committing a whole lot to him. Luckily he's able to get out and doesn't get frozen up. The hack did go onto Kevster too, so he couldn't even wall or ice block, but it doesn't matter. Chris and BQB end up going down. The big flank here from Birdring, as the rest of the Gladiators try to chase away the Mayhem tanks. Shaz does end up falling, so they do have little healing, but they have the positioning, and they've got a lot of sustain on their side as well, with the May, with the Orisa, and the Sigma 2. This should be point number 2 locked up, unless the Mayhem can get back. Yaki is falling low, Fate is going to fall over as well. That should just be it, there you go. 2 minutes and 30 seconds now, Josh, for the final push.
And this is pretty perfect territory for the Gladiators. They kept that momentum going. It was a really nice flank as well from space to be able to pick off BQB and then set up Birdring for the kill onto Chris. And now Birdring's in a forwards aggressive position, and the Gladiators got ults to work with as well. Florida Mayhem, though, are going to put up an aggressive defense here. You are probably going to see a Nana Boost and then a Primal Rage come out onto Fate, and then an EMP too. That'll allow BQB to get set up on the high ground.
Birdring's playing a little bit scared here. Had to jump down to the Mega Pack room to
peel for
get out of the way. Birdring does manage to take out Gangnam Jin though. Fate kills 2. Both supports dead. This should just be it. However, they're still committing. Flux and the Supercharger have been used, but they just get EMP'd. I mean, this is all over. Chris gets the free res on BQB as well. Gladiators burn both tank ults in this fight, Josh. I mean, getting the Blizzard down's hard enough against the Winston and D.Va, but because there's so many high grounds, even the DPS are going to be able to scurry out of the way. Curtis is going to have a tough time actually making or finding good value with this ult.
Yeah, it's a very low-value ultimate at the moment, actually, if you play it into these very mobile compositions like the Florida Mayhems. But if you can use it to force the positioning of Florida and then finish them off with just pure damage, that's how you want to get massive value out of it.
Well, there it is. Fate does get nanoed. He's going to be rather easy to heal up, and he's got a Bio Grenade on him too, so he ain't going down also fast. Darkflow sends in the self-destruct over the top. I thought Birdring was going to die to that, but little did I know, he was just actually killing off Gargoyle on the sidelines. The Blizzard actually did give them a lot of space to work with. However, still on the high ground is BQB. The Bio Grenade in the front could be big as Big Goose goes purple. Birdring's going low too. Kevster and Birdring bite the dust as Yaki and Fate make sure they make themselves known in the front line. BQB gets dragged forward, but the amount of peel just given to BQB right now is just enormous. Yaki, however, unlucky, ends up going down. However, still the Dynamites are raining death row, well, raining from above, and they have Bob available too, so the stalling potential for the Florida Mayhem is huge. Chris, miracle resurrection onto Yaki, and Kevster ends up going down as well. OT is just around the corner, Josh. The high noon, maybe the flux from the Gladiators as well, could be the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, it doesn't look great though, because the Florida Mayhem still have EMP and Primal available. They can stall for a long time. They still have
the
Nano and
Flux,
EMP to be able to
it got
close this
nothing.
out.
Flux got nothing, and Space Impact got hacked too. The High Noon also got nothing because it just got eaten. Everything thrown out by the Gladiators is just getting denied. They all fall over. No one from the Mayhem ended up going down in the last fight. Yaki played that perfectly. Space, I'm not even sure if he even got anybody in the Flux, but he ends up getting hacked anyway, so he couldn't even use the shield or the rock. What a perfect defensive hold there from the Mayhem. Using a comp that you normally think would get ran over, because they're running Winston and D.Va, but using the high grounds, very little space was granted by OG in space. They had to invest either an ult or just a lot of cooldowns in order to inch forward on that payload. Big win condition here now for the Mayhem. 2 points and only 67 meters for the Glads.
Yeah, they've set themselves up quite nicely. And the ult cycling was perfect from the Florida Mayhem. Gundam Jim's building up these nano boosts so damn quickly. And then Fate's there with a Primal every second nano boost, and Yaki's building up the EMPs as well. And that's how this composition, and a lot of the Winston Zarya compositions we saw previously with the Sombra as well, that's how they function, is via ult cycling. Is by you being able to win a fight with one ultimate, and then fall back on another ultimate, and use the previous fight to build up another one. It's a concept that these teams have got incredibly good at, and even if your composition would lose a neutral engagement without ults up, doesn't matter if you can cycle them effectively. The Gladiators, again, though, making so many mistakes, not pocketing Birdring effectively, not getting value out of their ultimates, just getting battered back all the time. It's difficult to watch. The Gladiators' best chance here is if Birdring just pops off and they're able to punish Fate when he goes aggressive.
Nice little bit of 20% ult charge there for Birdring. Headshot onto Fate, almost killed him. I mean, ideally, that's what they've been relying on as well, right? I mean, Birdring or Kevster on the Widowmaker just popping off, but Birdring on the defense, he's got a little bit more protection because he has the Sigma and the BAP next to him, so it's not too much of an issue, but the way Florida can play this comp, they can basically just have tanks on the low ground here, just harassing, and then they can kind of cycle in and out in just trying to harass space. Nice little angle there from a... Ooh! The 180 headshot to Yaki too, he knew it was coming. The game sense on this lad is enormous. Oh, and he kills Chris too? Through the D.Va mech? Oh, well, hey, Josh, what do you want? You want Birdring to pop off? There you go. Oh, he kills BQB as well. Well, that's the rest of Mayhem dying, so reset.
Birdring is hitting shots like this, then anything is possible for the Los Angeles Gladiators. This is the first time in the series as well that he has been allowed onto that main hit scan role. I thought the Gladiators would run Birdring on hit scan and Mirror maybe on the Sombra. Instead, we've seen Birdring on Sombra for the first 2 maps. Or obviously he did play the double sniper on Havana, but he was playing the Hanzo rather than the hit scan. So this is our first opportunity to see whether Birdring is hot and can turn the fate of the Gladiators around.
Sights have been activated as well. Such an early use the ability. I mean, he's been clicking ahead, so of course he's going to have the ult up and ready to go. They're just waiting for this to wear off. There we go. It's all gone now, so they can now go for this engagement. They have got Nano Boost, but Birdring clicks down ahead. This could be dangerous.
Nano onto Fate here, and the Fate's going to be able to build up his Primal Rage. And then it becomes very difficult for the Gladiators.
I love the way Birdring is playing as well, but I'll get that in just a moment. Space is being hacked, but look at the pressure that they're able to exert. I mean, Space is now, no, he is so dead unless they manage to save him somehow. They do. Bab gets onto the high ground. Immortality Field's going to go down, and Birdring, all the meanwhile, we managed to go off BQB and Chris. Chris gets the res, but BQB pays it in kind. Chris ends up going down, and there's still a man up. Making that 2 as Cannon Jim also falls. This is the Gladiators, and this is the Birdring that we wanted to see. They're even going to invest the Blizzard, although just throw it away. Just give Birdring all the support he needs.
Doesn't matter. The Blizzard, who cares about it?
Wait, what?
It's all about Birdring right now.
BQB?
Fate did such a good job at being able to create space there, and Birdring just destroyed BQB. Wait, how on earth is BQB hitting here?
What is he doing?
No!
Oh, the Dynamite's good. Oh, they're going to kill him. There's no way. Yeah, Immortality Field's going to get burnt, though.
How did no one see him, though?
I don't know. He's invisible? He's Sombra now?
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, the space creation there from Fate was enormous, and that made space for BQB, but BQB just got headshot by Birdring. So obviously if Birdring's hitting shots like that, the whole strat falls to pieces. And now BQB has had to go for the ego duel. It's Widowmaker on either side.
60 seconds remaining.
Oh, there, your sights too, so he can't actually peek for a little while here. And Birdring, and what I wanted to say about Birdring, he's playing really far back actually. He's waiting for these engagements to come in, so the Florida Mayhem squishies end up having to walk to the point and press OG. And then he just goes for an angle through a hotel. There are 60 seconds, well 40 seconds now remaining. They have EMP. All they really need to do here is stop Space from getting a big flux off, Josh.
Big Goose as well has the answer for the EMP if it does come through. Birdring as well has just been an absolute menace on this defense, and now he's got a supercharger to work with as well. The Florida Mayhem can't push this. They have to wait out the supercharger, and in it goes. The EMP's available. Big Goose with the barrier only catches 3 players, and Shaz dies.
Shaz dies. I mean, face down with the back line. Yep, there you go. Ego duel 1. However, you know, your BQB did get a little bit of resistance from Fate. They're going to commit here. I mean, you might as well. There's a lot of damage and not much healing, so Gladiators are going to throw everything in. Chris with the res manages to get it off on Yaki as they move towards the point, but can they actually get any time here? I mean, OG is still standing behind a shield, and BQB's having a tough time actually getting an angle.
They can give up ticks here and still recontest. Shaz is going to be able to come back in with his Immortality Field, with his Amp Matrix. And
BQB has no grapple. Oh, Fate. Oh, this is it, yeah. I mean, Fate with the hold. They managed to still get a Blizzard onto the point. Self-destruct is going to clear away most of the Gladiators. However, Fate just finding those picks, it should be enough. Yeah. They are kept alive, but BQB with the damage boost as well on the high ground. I mean, there's not really much you can do. They even have the sight if needed, but it doesn't look like they do. BQB now clicking heads as soon as he was granted the space, and they unlock the payload, and now second point is where they're going to have to fight.
Again, that final fight on the defense, and BQB gets the kill on Birdring. So it's pretty much a mirror of Havana and that point A defense over there. It's all looking amazing, phenomenal, just sublime from the Widowmaker player. It was Kempster on Havana, it's Birdring now. But when it comes down to that final, can't quite hit the shot, and BQB comes out on top. Birdring, though, in the street space, has completely cancelled all of this momentum. The kill on Yaki, nice EMP, and means that the Gladiators can retake all of this space.
Oh, and Yaki has another EMP, dude. Like, he's building these up so quickly. I think they're waiting here for them to come in, and the separation is actually massive. The body block is huge. He manages to get to the rest of the team in time as the EMP did unleash, but look at them all in this small room. Oh, Fate is having a field day. Look at him go. Oh, Shaz didn't stand a chance. Neither do the rest of the team. Big Goose has to actually beat that to make sure some of them survived. Chris is going to be able to aid in the healing too as they move forward. But Gladiators, they're on a clock. They've only got Big Goose to heal, so Space use the Flux to make sure they can't go super aggressive. They're still going to hold this payload, Josh, but a minute remains. Birdring is on the flank. He's maybe found a kill. One shot will do it. BQB ends up going down, as well as Chris. Birdring is having an absolute phenomenal game.
He is slapping. This is enormous plays coming out from Birdring. This is like a playoffs level performance coming out from this guy. He's just been phenomenal. Now BQB's got back over to the Ash just to provide a bit more consistent damage in the team fight. They've still got a Nano Boost, sorry, to be able to work with, so Fate will be able to make a little bit of space, but pushing into a Supercharger and an Amp Matrix, this should be it for the Gladiators. Kevster as well is going to have an EMP. If the Gladiators lose this, I don't know how they'll have made it happen.
Will you shave your hair, Josh? That's the question. Shaz goes down to BQB, a headshot instantly killing him off. And look at the space that Face now creating. He may be tracked in the bookstore, but there's not reading to be done. Yaki and Fate pushing up. They eventually fall over. However, Josh, I will say, they didn't use EMP and they didn't use Supercharger, so this is very winnable for the Gladiators if they can get back onto the payloads. And because they have a Lucio, they're going to be able to get back rather quickly.
Still though, in these crucial fights, when it's overtime scenarios or when the Gladiators are just about to win, something always goes wrong. BQB there with a great pick onto Shaz, and that's all of the healing that disappears. He's like the most crucial player that you would want to keep up in those scenarios. Now the Gladiators invest ults.
Yeah, just all you need to do is cancel out Birdring's effectiveness in this fight. But you can't! He kills BQB after being knocked around by Fate. He takes the miracle shot and it wiped out. Kevster does end up going down though, but Birdring is still on his hair. Chris falls too. OT is here, and Florida Mayhem don't have support. They're on their last limbs, and Birdring is just setting up shop, setting up a nest in the back line to make sure that he can't be can't be tamed. I don't know where I was going with that one, but the Gladiators, they're going to be able to hold Florida Mayhem just before this second point and keep themselves in the series.
What an unreal individual performance from Birdring. We saw it from Kevster on Havana, but it just wasn't enough because their offense couldn't get the ground. But they had already done the groundwork on King's Row. They had pushed it and set up a win condition for themselves. And then on defense, he just hits every single shot. BQB is having a great game as well, by the way. He's still able to get picks all over the place. But Bird's transcendent levels of Widowmaker, where he's just dominating BQB by using really smart angles as well. He's not just taking head-to-head duels with him. Birdring is popping up in positions where he's unexpected, getting kills on BQB when BQB isn't aware, and then following up with the Mercy kill to deny the res. That happened so many times throughout that defense of King's Row. It's just beautiful to watch. And as much as this match has been chaos, it has also delivered us just some phenomenal individual moments. I want them to keep Birdring. As good as Kevster was on Havana, I want them to keep Birdring on the hit scan moving forward. Because that's outrageous.
Like, he's taking the ego duels. And the biggest play you can make, especially with Widow in that situation, the way he flank, well, I wouldn't even call it a flank, but I guess it kind of was, when he goes on the high ground, and like you said, they weren't expecting it at all. You deny the res, you just kill off the Widow, and then you just set your team up for success, because no one expects you to go on these angles. Like, there's been plenty of times where I'm sure you've seen it in other games, maybe in ranked games too, where the Widow just takes this crazy angle, but at this level, you're like, there's no way he's going to be there.
Yeah.
But because he is, it's like, oh, well, what? Like, BQB is so surprised. You can see him kind of walking around. He hasn't really got a care in the world. He's not looking for Birdring at all. He's just trying to set up with his Mercy, but Birdring just takes the off angle without a Mercy pocket, mind you, as well, and clicks 2 and they die. And you just win the fight off of that.
And of course, the Florida Mayhem are coached by Albert Yeh, who doesn't clear angles himself. So it makes sense that BQB wouldn't have any idea that he was up there because, you know, you got to clear those angles.
Yeah, there's no urgency. There is zero urgency on Birdring right now. Looking pretty sus. Right, we're going to jump to a quick break. Do not go anywhere. We've got map number 4 coming up soon.
Get in here.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back. Florida Mayhem still on match point against the Gladiators, but what a ridiculous pop-off performance by Birdering on King's Row. Like, actually ridiculous. There was no way you could have said that wasn't a solo carry. Like, Birdering was hitting headshot after headshot after headshot, you know, in the loving words of Bren. I mean, at the end of the day, if your Widow is actually on fire and the Widow on the other team can't match him, there's almost no hope. And I like the fact that you brought up like the ego duel jumping onto the Widowmaker. There was a point where BKB was like, no, I'm not going to jump on this anymore. I want the Ashe to take it to the front line and just try and kill your tanks. And then we just hopefully ignore you until you maybe not get enough picks. But like, it doesn't happen because Birdring just keeps hitting shots.
Yeah, and this is a strange scenario to be in for the Gladiators, I feel, because it seems like a lot of their compositions revolve around Kevster primarily taking that hit scan role and Birdring being the Sombra. We've seen the meta trend towards Sombra Ashe, that kind of stuff. And as we head into Hanamura, that's what we would be expecting to see from the teams here. And yet, Birdring's having such an unbelievable performance on the hit scan that you would almost want, as the coach of the Gladiators, to keep him on that role. But that might require going away from what you practiced on Hanamura. So you're stuck in this tough position where do you stick to what you practiced or do you go with the player that's really hot right now? Because as good as Birdring has looked, he might not come out with a performance like that again, map to map, back to back.
I mean, but if you are on fire, however, I will argue that it's worth just sticking on the Widowmaker. I don't think you lose that from map to map, you know? Like, I don't know. It depends on the player, of course, depends on the mentality and everything else, but like, I just personally feel that if you're on fire, you just keep on going. Oh, hello, Yaki. How's it going? Unfortunately, he's not going to be on the Widow, he's going to be on the Sim. He's going to TP people forward, and he's going to go back. There's a nice little bio grenade, though, actually. But they should be fine, and it's just a quick speed boost to the back line. We'll see what Birdring wants to change over to. Okay,
now Birdring goes to the Widowmaker. So this is a bit of like the Great Bamboozle kind of thing, where you push the fight back, and then you have the Widowmaker sniping from the front. So Birdring is going to get harassed pretty heavily by Yaki here, I think.
Yes.
But if he can hit shots, this should be good for the Gladiators.
Well, Shaz dying is not great.
Very bad.
I will say that. And then we're able to set up in the small... Oh, and BKB escapes. He jumps up into the trees. And there's nothing much else you can really do. There's no healing for the Glads. And I would argue not using the block there. I mean, I guess you get a little bit of ult charge for it, for healing yourself. But you just delay the inevitable. That doesn't really matter. And Birdring now jumping over to the Sombra instead. So just forewent the Widow. They know they can't do it twice in a row. So now it's just Sombra v Sombra.
Hello.
Yeah, and this is a rough situation because the Gladiators team comp gets worse the more ults come online for Florida. So now they have a nano boost, so they can kill them as they're making rotations towards the point. The Gladiators start a long way away from this objective. They need to go around the houses, and this there's like a Bionade potential here is ridiculous, but Ganaviv doesn't even need to use it.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Like, that, I loved Ganaviv. His positioning in general is just so sublime. He's not scared at taking these very strange off angles where you'd normally think the Iana would be hiding away, obviously around where you can just off the camera now where he was, but behind a wall, so Gladiators kind of check in and say, okay, he's not there, we can't see shots going off, and then he just hides around, and then he pops out, whoop, fire grenade, Nano's fate, easy does it, and would you look at the ults now for Mayhem? Like you said, Gladiators get worse the more ults Mayhem have.
And also, Kevster can do nothing with this ult either. The May is going to be pretty useless. You may well in order to get around the side, but can't do anything else with it.
Yeah.
And so I feel like he should have gone onto a hit scan at this point here. The Gladiators comp is just losing. It is a losing comp running it into the Florida Mayhem. And they are just going to make these long rotations, and they are slowly going to die to ults.
I mean, what do you do now? You can just nano fate. He can go in with Primal Rage as well. And everybody else is going to have a very bad time. And if the Florida Mayhem if the Gladiators do end up getting themselves on the point, they've got to worry about this EMP that could come in. Even with the Blizzard, which can buy a lot of space, the EMP is going to destroy your entire team. Big Goose has to play extremely careful.
They have one team fight left, and it's this one, with all of their ults up.
Well, they're going to start out with a Cole at least. There's the EMP. It hits Shaz and Kevster. Luckily, the beat came out. Birdring didn't get the sound barrier, so he might be in trouble. Fate does get hacked, so he can't jump around anymore, but he's still creating a lot of space, being able to bash everybody away. The Blizzard is going to get used as well, but once again, this is creating space, but you can't see anything. Like, no one was caught there at all. And Fate and Gargoyle just leave. They just walk away. Kevster, the hit scan, maybe they wanted to be a little bit greedy with it and use it on the point when they had to contest, but Florida Mayhem were just never going to give them that opportunity.
Kevster can't stay on the May anymore. Right, okay, now he moves over to the McCree, so it does give them some opportunities. They could try and punish Fate, they could try and punish Yaki, but there's 20 seconds, so now they've just got to go speed boost onto the point, and that's free pickings for BKB and Fate. That EMP, though, is lovely from Birdring.
Yeah, Hacks 3, Fate dead. Gargoyle and Gangnam, they're okay for the time being. Gangnam has got the nano boost, he can still nano Gargoyle, but they managed to get the res off! Are you kidding me? And now they kill Birdring too. This has got to be all over. Gladiators haven't got much left. Their supercharger went down, but instantly destroyed. At least they kill BQB off, but they still have to deal with Fate in the front line, who is just doing so much work. Kevster gets bionated. Gangnam and Gargoyle are playing an off angle as well. And with this Primal Rage having to get dealt with, this Coalescence is getting absolutely nothing done. Shaz, unable to heal the rest of his team, now has to try and make his way back to Space, who has got the Flux, but the 2 ticks might be all that they are afforded. A beautiful sleep from Gangnam as well. The Florida Mayhem still making sure they stick on the point. Space unable to get the Flux off as well from a hack from Yaki, who is still staying alive, mind you.
Big Goose has used his sound barrier here as OG desperately trickles onto the point, but he's slept up towards the top. Big Goose hacked as well. They are managing to turn this a little bit,
but they can't! The point! Kevster and Big Goose goes down. The Gladiators can't make it back. And this could be where the series ends. The Gladiators, such a valiant attempt on King's Road to keep them in the series, have secured 72 and a bit % of point A. The Mayhem now they've got what, one clean team fight, Josh? And then they've done it. Oh man, the Kevster pick, I've got to run this back with you, Josh. Kevster picking the May here and running down to the final few moments, saving the Blizzard where it got almost nothing done, then eventually switching over, I think cost him a little bit too much there.
You have to look at... So, Kevster probably didn't want to make the swap off because he's at, 60% of his Blizzard once that first fight fails. Well, the one where Birdring was on the sim at the beginning, they TP onto the point. That all makes sense to run a May in that scenario, I think. But once lose that, the May is now pretty much the Blizzard counts for nothing against the mobile comp of the Florida Mayhem. You will never get value out of it. And you have no hit scan to be able to do consistent damage in the fight whatsoever. So I think the Gladiators, if I hadn't already lost the majority of my hair, that would have been mold-inducing. Because that was really bad strategic gameplay from the Gladiators. They were never going to be able to win. And it's a miracle they got 72% towards the end there. It was a big EMP coming out from Birdring. And now we're just waiting for Birdring to pop off and hit shots. If Birdring can save them, it will be a miracle here on the defense. And just to note, he is on a hit scan. They've kept him on that roll because he's on point.
He can get one shot though. This damage boosted Ashe, almost like a better Widow in some situations, apart from the range disadvantage. Don't walk into your own dynamite, you're good. OG does get naded, but he should be fine. Birdring takes a shot, but ideally here the Florida Mayhem just want to get in the door onto one of the high grounds, but OG is making it very hard as well. And this Bob's going to be available soon. I say that as Faye actually jumps up the high ground, is now chased away by OG. Gladiators thus far.
Yeah, pretty good. And the Gladiators are holding on. Gangnam has the nano, though, and OG is weak. They're diving into the back line, and Big Goose just dies
look at them all in the corner! Oh, it's done. It is so finished. They were trapped on the miniature health pack. It was even hacked as well, but the healing wasn't enough. It's all over, Josh. It's done. Florida Mayhem with the nano boost into the back line is going to be it. Bob on the point. I mean, yeah, hacked and pushed off as well. Nice little bit of tech there to poop him off even further. The Florida Mayhem now, and only have to kill Big Goose. The EMP comes out, and there it is. Florida Mayhem 3-1 in the series. Birdring, unfortunately, not being able to carry the Gladiators. What a series to behold, though, I must say. This was a fun one. I can't believe we saw Birdring carrying King's Row and then Florida Mayhem playing that assault perfectly.
Yeah, it was super entertaining, and it was very back and forth. Gladiators definitely could have taken some of the earlier maps in the series. You know, they had chances to take Lijiang and Havana, but at the end of the day, you're going to look back at this match as almost a microcosm of the whole of the season for the Gladiators. They look competent, but they make so many mistakes that they throw away very winnable series. They weren't even particularly close in the overall scoreline here, a 1-3, because they made so many errors on the maps where they should have had potential to win. And that's what they've been doing all season long. You look ahead, the Atlanta Reign, they play against the Los Valiant. The season is not over, but this is definitely, as Wolf would say, a Gladiators performance from the Los Angeles team. This is not one that you're particularly happy about, even though you went so close against a good team, because it showcased all of the strengths of the Gladiators, but also all of the problems with them as well, where they have great individual play, but they just cannot tie it together, and they make a lot of errors in their gameplay. Aside, Florida Mayhem joked very well. Team that can even go toe-to-toe with the Gladiators when someone like Birdring is popping off.
Yeah, their Ultimate Economy game as well has just been so stellar throughout almost the entirety of the season, and some other player that has been really good thus far. He couldn't quite subdue Birdring on King's Row, but BQB has just been an absolute standout performer. He's going to be your Xfinity player of the match, Josh.
BQB was great throughout this entire series. I mean, he turns these fights around so often for them. This was the fight at the beginning, obviously, where Birdring wastes his EMP and he gets the 2 kills on the Ashe. BQB found so many picks here, killed Space twice on Havana, and then killed Shaz towards the end to be able to essentially win Havana for them. And then, all right, he got beasted. Let's not beat around the bush. He got beasted on King's Row by Birdring. But that was like an outrageous performance from Birdring.
Yeah.
That's playoffs level Birdring just come early in the season, desperately trying to drag the Gladiators kicking and streaming over the line, whereas BQB was just another part of the puzzle here. Florida Mayhem didn't need him to go crazy, even though he did put up a really good performance.
Yeah, almost a perfect team with a perfect Angs, I will say that. I mean, are the Gladiators going to be able to make it, though? Like, they were fighting for that 5th place, Josh, and the teams that were standing in the way of them, they have to face soon. Like you said, the Valiant and the Reign, they're going to be playing soon. So there's still a chance. There's still a chance. There's still a chance for you to win your bet as well, Josh. Yes, we won't forget that.
Yeah,
I know.
Their destiny is not in their own hands anymore, though, because now they've got themselves to 9 and 10. You can see in the standings that the Valiant are at 11 and 9. The Valiant play against the Gladiators and the Titans, right? So there's strong potential that it'll come down still to that Battle of LA between those two teams. The Valiant could just jump ahead now that the Gladiators won 10 losses.
As you can see your standings on your screen right now, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are locked in. Yeah, Mayhem looking so good, man. Like, I think the top 4 of Overwatch League, and you could see it on the graphic, it kind of illustrates it perfectly. Like, they are the teams to beat. They are currently the best teams in the league. And it's that 5th to 6th place where there's a lot of teams that are vying for contention, but just can't quite make it. It does look like we've got an interview, though. We've got Gargoyle on the mic to talk about his recent victory.
Yes, thank you very much, Jack. I am here with Gargoyle and Swing Chip to ask some questions, so congratulations on the win. So this was a chaotic match. Is this what you were expecting from the Gladiators?
저희가 이번에 경기가 되게 혼란스러웠는데 이렇게까지 혼돈스러울 줄은 예상하셨나요?
혼란스러웠나요? 별로 안 혼란스러웠던 것 같은데.
He said, was it chaotic? It didn't feel like that to me.
From the outside, at least the spectators, it definitely looked a little chaotic, but that's fine. We saw you take a disappointing loss to the Valiant last weekend. What did you take away from that match?
저희가 이제 지난주에 발리안트한테 아쉽게 패배를 했었는데 그 경기 끝나고 거기서 배운 점 있었나요?
일단 경기 끝날 때까지 멘탈적인 거나 그런 거에 대해서 조금 더 피드백이라고 해야 되나 이런 거 좀 받고 이제 저도 이제 계속 정신 잡고 역전 안 당하게 더 네, 그렇게 하는
네.
걸
So he said, 네. So he said, just making sure that when we have an advantage, to make sure we hold on to that and just to keep focused all the way till the end of the match. And also, like, even if we were to lose a match, not to get mentally boomed by that, but rather to quickly refocus and like regain our momentum and push back right away.
Yeah, did a great job of that today. So this match had no impact on your regular season standing for the most part. Did you fully prepare for this match, or have you been practicing a little bit for the playoffs and the meta that we expect there?
저희가 이제 이번에 사실 이번 영웅풀이 나오면서 3경기 다 졌어도 우리 계속 4위였잖아요. 그래서 저희가 이제 스크림 하면서 풀업에 더 연습을 집중했나요? 아니면 다가오는 경기들에도 이제 예상하고 다 연습을 했었나요, 저희가?
일단 그 뭐지? 프로이랑 관련되는 조합일 수도 있고 아직 잘 몰라가지고 해봐야 알 것 같긴 한데 둘 다 연습 그 경기는 지면 안 되니까 그래도 최대한 프로도 준비하면서 대회도 이길 걸 하면서 한 것 같아요.
Because we don't know what the meta is going to be for the playoffs, while we did have a little bit of an eye out for what the meta for playoffs might be, we also didn't want to lose any of our matches, so we did practice for this patch as well.
Excellent, makes sense. So looking at that meta, we've seen a lot of changes, especially to tanks. What are his initial thoughts on what he thinks the meta or what it's going to look like?
그래서 이제 다음 패치 보시면 이제 탱커들한테 이제 많이 임팩트가 가잖아요. 이번 너프들 중에서. 그래서 그 새로 나온 패치에 대한 소감 좀 알려주세요.
솔직히 반갑진 않은 소식이긴 한데 저희가 매일 연습한 게 오리사 시그마 쪽이라서 그래도 뭐 한번 해봐야죠. 최대한 노력해서 지금까지 하려고. 이번 패치로 가도.
Yep. So he said this patch was certainly pretty unwelcome news, especially considering we play Orisa Sigma the most with the double shield. But we're still gonna try our best and we're still gonna give our all for the playoffs.
Absolutely. You guys have looked phenomenal. So thank you very much for joining me and congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. We are done with the matches for today. We have the post show coming right up with myself, Reinforce, and Sideshow. Stick around.